guys just don't admit it. That's one reason I'm not using that weapon. Because I'm off angle when I make that shot. But Lao Ho right now being taken down, and Fuxo is taking advantage of their position to go and chase against PE Sports. And as they lost one player, it seems like they are up in the corner right now with nowhere to go out.
Yeah, well defended though by PE Sports, just barricading all of those windows with the glue walls. But Nolan, the timing was off, and the charge buster by GU puts him down onto the ground. Looks so just waiting for the timing here to hop on in there, pulling out a double glue wall to block off the windows once again, but a mistake by PE Sports. But they still do manage to block off the access by Fluxo. GU really low, but the time turner pulled out in the nick of time. And GU saves the day. PE Sports was so close to annihilating Fluxo, but not a single player from the Brazilian squad was knocked down.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that is a great move coming from Fluxo at that point. Now, let's see on Borem United and Team Falcons. They are just waiting at each other. And not only that, Team Falcons is taking some hits from E1 Sports. I think AG is just keeping themselves silent, just make sure that they will not be distracting anyone from either E1 or Heavy. But Team Solid, I saw them jump in, and I thought they will be targeting Fluxo at this point. But good angle to take, but they need to move because in 15 seconds, the blue will be moving along them.
The East has got quantity here, but the West has got quality. Team Solid as well as Fluxo, but there's a little bit of infighting. Riptide Rhythm sends the win of Team Solid! And Jonah with the double! Gets the three-pointer, Kobe! Limit taken out of the equation. Bao steals 1 point away, but it doesn't matter. Falcons out of the equation. And now we are left with only 6 squads. MT7, a double knock. Team Solid facing a lot of trouble because of the position that Fluxo holds on to. Heavy pressuring them from the right-hand side as well. This has to be the end for Team Solid.
Oh, let's see. I mean, Traps is trapped in the corner, and Moshi managed to hit him from afar. 5 teams remaining, and Fluxo is still on the run. Glue UAV helping them out to survive, but on the other side, Heavy would be a potential target, and both of E1 and Fluxo is knocking them down.
Dude, the flame zone is just up in the ante here. But look at Kuriram circling around from the right-hand side. E1 is still in here as well. How in the world? I did not see them earlier.
Oh, no.
I do not know, but it doesn't matter. They get squashed as well as Kuriram rages on. Moshi, Superman on the left-hand side. Fluxo still alive and kicking. A little bit closer to the players of Heavy. 1 gets knocked down. 9 eliminations for the side of Kuriram, but just tethering on the very edge of the current zone.
Let's see, don't cry. Might be at a loss right now. Fluxo is behind. Brim is in front. Now it's a team versus team before between East versus West. And let's see who's going to win this. Would it be the defending champion or the one chasing for that crown? Wasan is already down. Jonah managed to take himself out. And Fluxo might be the team to grab the first booyah in this game.
It's not just the first booyah, Neptune. A freaking massive booyah as Moshi gets taken down by Bobs. 17 eliminations was what I last saw. Plus a booyah, 12 points off of placements. The reigning defending champions, technically the back-to-back global champions, have done it again, and they have started off day 1 to get to the top in such a phenomenal fashion.
And one thing I'm seeing from Fluxo at this point is they're not that passive team anymore. They are taking advantage of their position, running against opponent, leaving those gunshots, and just heading towards all those engagement. And that's how they got that 17 elimination. And I am loving this version of Fluxo right now.
Yeah. I mean, this is exactly what we needed to see out of Fluxo, the tenacity and the confidence and also the capability. Because yes, we've seen them in the past, and what they have done is mainly stay passive until the very end. And sometimes they would have stayed too silent for too long. They could not catch up. But of course, when it comes to the global finals, the grand finals itself, Fluxo is a different kind of beast. But now we see them bringing out that version of themselves so early in the knockout stage. I'm loving it. This is what we need. This is exactly what all of the other teams need out there, as well as a wake-up call.
Exactly. And well, it's even better than coffee to wake us up with Fluxo in the lead. I mean, I'm really loving this turnaround. I mean, game number one is just so heated up. It's just so massive. And I was expecting a global final. It would be a slow game because everyone is trying their best to identify where they can rotate safely, but there's no safe space. All they have to do right now is just look for the enemy and trust their instincts.
Yeah, I mean, at that point of time, the final engagement, it was a story called Run, Moshi, Run. But no matter where he ran, no matter what he did, there was just nothing that he could do to save his squad and to get them the booyah. But you know, valiant effort overall for Buriram to survive long enough to that final circle. But very, very impressive first booyah of the day, courtesy of our reigning champs. This is ridiculous, man. I mean, look at the number of eliminations on a stage like this. Fluxo's not messing around.
Oh, definitely. I mean, 17 elimination plus that booyah, it's 29 points already. And what I'm sad about, because we saw Team Falcons being eliminated in there, though they do have placement point, but unfortunately they don't have any elimination as well. Same goes for Movistar R7. Yes, they grabbed one when they hot dropped Buriram United, but that's it for them in the first game. And hopefully it doesn't affect their motivation as well, because if you're lost after losing out on Buriram United, then that would carry over onto the next game.
Yeah, no doubt at all. I think, you know, it's okay because it's just the first day, technically just the first game. They've got 5 more games to find a little bit of adjustment out there. Fingers crossed, it's a little bit more kinder to them, the environment. You know, fingers crossed they don't get those early engagements again, albeit, I have to say, Red Hawks was very impressive up against Heavy at the start of the game. But 29 points, so 17 eliminations was correct. 29 is massive, but Buriram's not too far away. 11 eliminations on the outside for a total of 20 points, including the placements. Heavy still kind of, you know, getting up towards the top here because surviving long enough was the name of the game, and Red Hawks just could not finish the job at the start.
Yeah, I mean, I still love seeing Heavy on the top 3 of this match, but looking at Team Fluxo at this point, they're not going in with a current meta. This is where they are confident, and we saw that confidence onto the game with A124, Skylar, Oscar, as well as Steffi. But the Skylar, it seems like it's being slowed down because of the blue UAV. We've seen that from an instance wherein that could have been a clear out of those blue walls, but that update just gave more opportunity for the teams to stand up.
Yeah, I mean, and this is what we like to see as well, right? 2 players with a team booster, 2 players with a tactical market. They've got a good balance, and if you look at which are the ones bringing in the tactical market, it's the players who are on the back lines, right? And the ones who are on the front, a little bit of an extra boost on their health as they take these very aggressive engagements. I think they've played this out very, very well overall. But MT7 with the 8 eliminations, this is a huge warning to a lot of the other players out there. If you've got a sniper on your side, and I don't know how you're going to detect Fluxo out there, but you better take their sniper out. MT7 has started off the day, and he is rocking it. 9 knockouts, 7 assists, 8 eliminations. Those are some insane stats off of this guy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, close to 5K on the damage. And, well, I know I put a little bit of, well, not hate, but question on Skylar, but it seems like it doesn't matter for MT7. As long as he has the sniper, whether an AC-80, AWM in hand, he can still make those shots. And it's not just from long range. He can make this in the mid-range as well. That is one reason why he is one of the deadliest snipers in the field right now. With that Maro, Susie, and Moko as well. A little bit of insurance policy with that Susie that we rarely see that nowadays.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think the Skylar is definitely going to be abused out there, even in this current season, because you've got too many of those buffs coming out for those blue walls, right? You've got the blue UAV, especially right now. You know, you've got everything going in the way of defense, so you need some extra glue wall breakers, which is why I did expect to see more Narrows. Unfortunately, we just saw him appear kind of once, and even that was more of like, you know, getting information gameplay instead of breaking down the defenses of their opponent. But a little circle analysis here. At the very start of the game, Sector 1 itself had a lot of incidents that were not friendly to a couple of squads.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one reason as well why some of the teams have faltered already despite of the prestige they have. One is Movistar R7, another is, well, not Red Hawk, because they managed to get the core elimination early on, but what follows is their demise. I'm loving the circle analysis as well. This is one thing that I've been asking and hoping for the longest time, and it's been 4 or 5 years already, and there's more details that we can talk about every time that comes up. But as we look at the highlights, it is more of the in-game engagement, and this is what I'm talking about for Brim United. The priority is to make sure that their teammates are alive, and Get High was supposed to just go for the pick-up, but he saw a few of their players from R7, and that's when they take him down.
And that time turner was a life-saving time turner for Fluxo, because just with one shot off of that M590, you could have taken down two players because they only had a sliver of health on themselves, right? And that kind of shows exactly how well put together Team Fluxo is, from the brink of annihilation to shutting down that squad, making it into the final circle, and walking away with the booyah as well. It's not going to be easy to dethrone Brazil and take this one away from them. I think the other teams are obviously well aware of that, but what can they do with the information, of course, is the biggest question.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's more of how they can play with that. We've seen a lot of teams who use a lot of skills and utilities to gather all this information. It's more of how they can approach it, and it doesn't show up as quickly compared to what we've seen what Fluxo did. The turnaround, the pickup is quite easy. It looks so easy, and one reason as well why they dominated that game number one.
So for the question of East versus West, even though the East has got the numbers, even though we've got the quantity, the West still proving that they have got the quality. Lesser squads in there overall, but still managing to walk away with a massive game. Then it's kind of a testament to how strong the fight is going to be from the West to keep the crown on their side. I mean, the East technically has enjoyed the crown being on their side, very specifically in Thailand for a long, long time, for many years. So I think it's good for the trophy to spend its, time in the West. What do you guys think, though? Let us know in the comment section whether you think the crown needs to go back to the East as well.
I have a guess on what the comment section will say, but I'm not going to say it. I'm just waiting and watching for that. But you did mention about East and West, and looking at our leaderboard, we have 4 from the West that is playing for today. It's so unfortunate for R7 that they were eliminated early, but the 3 teams out of the 4 is on the top half of our leaderboard. And you did mention about quality, and all of the 3 are coming from Brazil, so it seems like it's not just East, it is Brazil who's dominating that game number 1.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And obviously, Fluxo at the very top, E1 as well as Team Solid, managing to climb up quite a little bit, but and they are in the double-digit, area, but they do need to climb up a little bit more. I am most impressed, though, Neptune, by Heavy. They got into a very sticky situation early on in the game, and I have to say, if it wasn't for the appearance of WAG, they would have gotten crushed then itself. I think that the distraction surely kind of helped out in that situation. E1 appeared initially, and then, of course, WAG. But overall, Heavy using that situation, getting the revive, and getting the hell out of there, and then regrouping together as a squad to get to the final circle, shows you exactly how much these Vietnamese squads have improved over the years.
Yeah, definitely. And let's see if that is something that would show up even more. But we know what the question right here. Will their Clash Squad dominance hold up in Battle Royale? We're talking about the dual mode champion, Red Hawks, Falcons, and Fluxo. And it seems like Fluxo has already put up their name in there for BR. Now, question is, will Falcons and Red Hawks follow through? Because looking at the list, they're at the bottom half.
Yeah, they're definitely the bottom half. But all 3 of these teams, dual mode champions for a good reason. They know how to play a good game of Free Fire. In their own individual regions, they are most definitely beyond champions. They are legends as of this point of time. But when you reach the global finals, when you reach a stage like this, where we throw everybody into a potluck of squads, the story tends to be a little different. And at the moment, the teams with the most amount of experience on a stage like this has managed to climb up the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Once again, why I'm so impressed by Heavy, because they are up there together with them.
Again, it's just a turn event for Heavy with
Yeah.
what happened in Southeast Asia fall. I mean, that performance was just outstanding. I mean, if there's a better word for it, that's all I can think of. It's outstanding. Even beating those are the top dogs. Yes, they didn't get the champs, but they were in there comparing their previous performance for the spring. They just catapulted themselves up in the second place. And I'm loving that version of Heavy. Hopefully that doesn't die down because you know how it is with Vietnamese team. They move up quickly in the first half and then falter towards the end. And at this level, this is something that is different from what Vietnam has experienced from the recent tournaments.
Yeah, I don't want to see them fall for sure. Because we've got 4 squads out of Vietnam this time around. We want to see something from them. But of course, a quick fun fact about the loadout system: you've got 4 roles to choose from: support for buffs, weapon boost for upgrades, tactic for map control, as well as your leg pocket for extra gear. Every choice can change the fight, and you just saw that in action out there.
Yeah, I'm loving the team's also already utilizing it to the T, despite of the update just coming up a couple days ago. And
Yes.
that's one thing as well. For those viewers out there who are still not familiar on how the Lotus system is working, hopefully these games would give you an idea because I tried myself in playing, but I'm still slowly getting ahead of it. And when I say slow, like very, very slow.
It's okay. It's an age factor, my friend. this game, although it can be enjoyed by anyone of any age, it caters towards the younger ones a little bit more. Uncle Neptune will have to take a little bit extra time. But of course, I totally agree with you. Anything new takes a little while to kind of get used to and to master overall, which is why I love watching all of these esports tournaments where these pro players, I mean, this is their job. This is their life, day in, day out, all they do is Free Fire, right?
Yeah.
And if they don't master it and they don't show us, who else will? And no better time for the update because we get to see it on the global stage and we kind of get to take a good comparison between the teams from, separate regions. A comparison between the East and the West, whether or not the meta that they think is effective out there is going to be different or everybody's kind of working around the same thing. Because we just saw Fluxo is still sticking to what they're comfortable with. We don't see Nero coming out there. And I don't think that's a huge issue at all because, once again, when we saw them win the World Series with that Riptide rhythm, I believe they were the only ones bringing the Skylar into play because to every other region, to every other team, they were saying, hey, the Skylar is technically out of meta.
Well, let's see if that's something that they can prove once again. Another fun fact, referring to Falcons double champion and Sea Fall 2025, Guerrero said, if winning once was luck, you can't be lucky twice. And I guess they just showed sheer dominance and it wasn't luck. They won both Battle Royale and Clash Squad.
Red Hawk fans are very happy that Corona said that because now they can say that for Red Hawks as well. I tease you guys. I love Red Hawks. I've been waiting for them for a long, long time to make their international debut. We got to see a little bit of a sneak peek up against them. And of course, we get to see them in performance today as well. Once again, a great start, but it fizzled out too early. Luck just wasn't on the side of Red Hawks in this particular start because even if they were able to manage the situation early on in a decent 4v4, too many teams came rotating into their compound. I think as far as Red Hawks is concerned, they need to start looking for some of these safer drops which are not occupied by any of these other squads because if they're not prepared for the battle, I usually don't see them hanging around long in the lobby at all. And that's going to be a problem if they don't fix it.
Exactly. I mean, and there's one thing I would want to say is for Red Hawks. Yes, they show dominance in that hot drop, but it's the moving away part that they need to move.
Yep.
That they need to do quite well, because we've seen a lot of teams, they don't like, especially in where in 12 teams are still involved or 11 teams are still involved. Definitely, some of the teams will be hearing those gunshots, waiting for the opportunity. If you spend so much time in engaging in one compound, you will need to anticipate that someone else will be waiting for you. So, yeah, like after the engagement, if you win that fight, then just move away. At least one person can move away, and that can be your insurance policy, not just for Red Hawks, but for everyone else of these teams who's going for the hot engagement for the early games.
Yeah, man. I mean, at the end of the day, we definitely need to look at a few different factors overall as well. But I do want to highlight one thing, right? We've got a few underdogs who are on the rise here. We've highlighted them extensively already. We are talking about the teams. We're talking about Red Hawks as well. Okay, we also have to throw Redcliffe in conversation, because many of the fans out there, and even some of the teams that are on that global stage, they kind of feel like these are the teams that are going to be the filler squads. These are the ones who are going to get crushed and thrown down to the bottom. Now, Red Hawks are not doing us fans a big favor by kind of proving that right at the very first game itself, but it's good that they got punished early, because it's all about the rise up to the top. It's all about how you find those adjustments. But it wasn't just Red Hawks that got crushed early. WAG performed, even worse. They only got 2 points out of that game. And wait, let's take a quick pause on that statement. A quick fun fact here. When it comes to age, still at 16, Blade and Kutush are the third and fourth youngest players at the Free Fire World Series 2025. And right behind, AG Chinoy as well as Rasia. Rasia is still the youngest player out there on the stage. Well, technically he's not on the stage right now, but the youngest one out there on this global finals.
Yeah, I mean, I got hurt a little bit when it comes to age, but fun fact, Neptune is the oldest caster
Yes.
in the lineup right now. But anyways, I mean, you did see, we are seeing a lot of potential, especially from Rastia. When he got introduced, that's when Evo Zivine just changed, changed their face. And I think it's not just the energy, it's not just the mechanical movement that can be done by young people. It's more of how hungry he was in winning those games. Imagine, even before EWC, he's already part of Evo Zivine, and he's watching in the background, eager to put himself on that stage. And the moment that he is there, I think he manifested everything that he has achieved so far, even before he stepped on EWC.
Yeah, I mean, there's two types of people when it comes to manifestations. One just wishes, another one wishes and puts in action to get there, and Russia's the latter, right? It's not just about wishing to get up to the top. This kid is divinely blessed with some, out of this world Free Fire skills. At EWC, if Russia was not there, I do not think they would have become champions, because he was the savior of the squad. Round after rounds, they could have gotten annihilated so early. He kept them alive. He kept them still collecting those points, because there's a big probability that the other teams would catch up, activate Champion Rush, and then sneak it away from EVOS. So they still had to play the game of points by the end of the day. And Russia was the integral piece in that puzzle to...
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's see though. I mean, more of Razga and Evo Zivine later on. Right now, we're heading in onto our next map. It is Purgatory. And, well, let's see if neither heaven nor hell will be able to save the teams right now, especially for those who have been stuck in the bottom after those early engagement fails.
Absolutely, man. Purgatory time. And like you say, usually neither heaven nor hell, but they're about to get tortured for sure if they get into yet another sticky situation. Those hot drops are unforgiving. And I want to see if or not Red Hawks will make a little bit of an adjustment in terms of how they drop into the map. Maybe avoiding those central areas, picking a little bit of the edges, and Moat House is a perfect option for them. Usually teams do avoid the location of Moat House. It doesn't really serve up the best of defenses. There's just too many entry points into that area with those zip lines. But they will be sharing a quite close proximity with WAG, which is quite worrying.
Yeah, let's see though of how fast they can move because looking at the area, it's quite
Uh-oh.
clear. But at this point in Brasilia, R7 will not be in the clear once again. This time they will be dealing with PE Sports, but not quite sure if they have the weaponry to do so or the position be able to beat them down. But speaking of beating them down, Brim United beating down GOW2 or one elimination already done, but Dion will be brought back up.
Yeah, I mean, too easy on those revivals so early in the game, as long as you've got a vending machine somewhere around you. But of course, it's a little bit more heated here. Binoculars used early on. They do spot out that there's still a lot of heat around their area, but it'll take a pause on the fight between Movistar and PE Sports. Checking out Buriram United Esports, a little split up on the battlefield as of this point of time, but nothing for them to be concerned about as Nero finds Hacks with the Vector, gets those connections on. LBD backs away, Trogon in hand, game staying right in front of him. Needs to back up the rest of his team members as Nero now flanks around from the left-hand side, takes the higher ground. Joker meets him halfway. Nolan right behind him. It's a 2v1. And Joker gets caught with his pants down. Great attempt by PE Sports, and the teamwork does get them an extra point.
And Gamesky, the only remaining vehicle in hand, but I don't think he'll be able to get away.
Uh-oh.
Shot onto first, and he will be taken out. R7, once again, the first team to be eliminated. So unfortunate for them. I've seen the potential from EWC, but it's not showing up this time around.
Stop pissing LATAM off, guys. They are going to go crazy if this continues. And I don't like their crazy mode, man, because they are such a coin flip out there. There are times where, we've seen LATAM play a lot of spoilers in the past. And those are the moments where, they're very close to getting eliminated, but then they bring out this beast mode, and that's exactly what's needed for them to stay in the competition. We still do have a little bit of expectations off of them, so let's see in the rest of the 4 games whether or not they do rise up to the top. In the meantime, at Lumber Mill, the battle between Heavy and Team Falcons, Kororo getting caught all alone here in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, Guerrero right now in a 1v2 situation. One of the teammates has been recovered and brought back. But let's see if he'll be able to survive, move away, and probably give an opening to On Fire. I think I saw On Fire on the horizon earlier, and this push, this bait might be the saving grace. And there you have it, Guerrero, AC80, domination up close and personal, and he might be able to go for the shot moment. That time turner expires, but no, the pickup has been done already, and recovery will follow.
Yeah, I mean, very well played by Kororo there. Sharpshooter for sure. Game of numbers still disabling him. Fantastic save coming on through from Heavy, pulling out the time turner and the glue wall. Kororo, in the meantime, just trying to get as many hits with the M590 up against the time turner, but obviously not the best of ideas there. But Heavy's still facing a lot of pressure as On Fire shows up now.
Yeah, On Fire on 1v2 clutch. Now let's see if he'll be able to do the same on Kabi. Parabal in hand.
Nicely
The
done.
revive will be done by Heavy. And, well, that's a hint that On Fire needs to back away. No one's chasing him. Blue UAB to save a little bit more of strength for that blue wall. But Kabi is getting too close.
Uh-oh, this is a big fight. Fluxo up against Buriram. Look at Bobs. He's got the grenade launcher. Can he make good use of it? Wasana M590 goes in for the first rush, pushes in with the beautiful play on the shotgun, pushes him right out of the situation, but Get High does manage to clip him. He's got the Max 7 on him still.
Oh!
Unbelievable early shutdown. Fluxo, the #1 team off of game 1, has gotten eliminated so early by none other than Buriram.
And this is what I'm talking about. You did mention earlier the Brim United, all the hate, all those talk against them is eating them up. Well, denied of that booyah, now they want some payback. But seems like Team Falcons will not be paying back Heavy at this point. There's still a loss, only 1 remaining, and it seems like Heavy has just hunted each and every one from the players of Falcons.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, the Max 7 kind of getting the job done there, but it was a beautiful rotation in by Buriram. I think there was just too many seconds of second guessing on the side of Fluxo. They should have definitely used the grenade launcher. The M79 in hand would have, if not stopped, it would have slowed down, put it up, and they could have protected themselves a little bit better. But of course, mistakes are meant to be made early in the knockout stage so that the teams are able to clean up whatever mess that they still have in terms of their rotations as well as their strategy before we get into the grand finals. We've got a total of 36 games, out of which each squad will have to play 24. So 24 games to qualify in the top 12. I think it's more than sufficient. Mistake in one of the 24, nothing much to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, on day one and game, the first half of the day, I guess. But if you lose out on all the games,
Why you cursing them, man?
bro, I mean, I just want to throw some truth in the battlefield because we've seen that so many times. Yes, there is some hope, but the moment that they get cursed, and I'm not talking about us cursing them cursing themselves because of all the failures that's not being corrected. But speaking of that, Barros right now taking down Kiroro, and we've seen that earlier. That Team Falcons is already lost. It seems like it's still the curse is still following them.
Yes, speaking of curse, Valiant dash in, breaking down two blue walls and an easy elimination, but on fire, still on fire, bringing back his team members one after the other. And now the standoff between PE Sports and Team Solid. Waka up on the roof, looking for a little bit of information, but PE does not want to stay and play. Abandoning the vending machine, looking for a rotation towards the left. But there's a big probability here that WAG comes swinging by. This is trouble time for Vietnam. WAG versus PE Sport with a little bit of interference out of Team Solid could just be a possibility.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, the vehicle, the noise vehicle might have pull in PE Sports or probably have them on their toes. The same goes for Team Solid. But as you can see the map or the minimap, they are getting close, a little too close for comfort into PE Sports. The same goes for Red Hawks. Hopefully, Red Hawks hang back a little bit because they don't want to be part of this if they want to survive longer, unless they have the firepower to do so. But speaking of firepower, like Falcon is feeling all those firepower from the beginning of the game up until now. They're still in trouble.
Yeah, he's got the super med on him though, on fire. Grenade. Okay, so there's a blue wall melter. But nothing much to worry about for now. But you gotta admire how Team Falcons has managed to quickly recover their squad. Everybody's got a little bit on them, but not much of cash because multiple revivals have been pulled so far. AG Global kind of putting themselves in a disadvantage by splitting up here. Limit has to take advantage, but Dew is still alive and kicking. Has got the VSK in hand alongside the Car 98. Deep Freeze will not find anyone. Kororo down to half his health, but has got the time turner to protect himself. A double glue wall pulled up as well. Riptide Rhythm courtesy of Limit goes in for the shot. Still not finding any connections onto Team SR. They do have the electrotherapy, but Kororo straight into the fight in a 1v2. Those glue walls get erected. Kororo not giving up with the Max 7, has the confidence and the rate of fire. Damage is there as well. Breaking down all the defenses is Peanut. Valiant Dash takes out those glue walls, but he's all alone. Surviving against two players, and Dew takes the fight straight up against Peanut. Survives that. Can he come in clutch? Glue wall erected. Dew back up on his feet. Peanut with the Bison, but can't seem to find the access. Puts Dew down once again. But the valiant effort taken out by a double revolver of all things. AG Global smashes Falcons.
I was counting how many knockdowns Kiroro has in that play, and it seems like that was 5, but unfortunately, there's still Team SR that he didn't touch. And that's another unfortunate play coming from Team Falcons, and AG Global will push through. But will they be able to make the time? We're already close to the 10-minute mark, and it seems like a lot of real stakes are already being taken by the team. And as you look at this view, there's no more that the agent will be able to sell. Whether the land, whether the house, everything is booked.
My goodness me, that battle between AG and Falcons, it was just too hot. And of all weapons, the M1917 coming in clutch at the very end. Imagine having to pull out your secondary, but it was just big brain stuff, right? You run out of bullets, you still need to stay in the fight instead of just running away, reloading. You pull out your secondary. I think the presence of mind there was just supreme on the side of AG Global to manage that situation. They've also gotten a double revival now, so we do expect them back in the fight in a little bit. Heavy, on the other hand, circling in, looking for the zone. They will have to be careful here because out in the open, if they do get caught by some long-range shots, they'll have to use up a lot of those precious blue walls early.
Yeah, let's see though if they'll be able to use that. But look at Brim United, they're not rushing, crossing to the river. They do have a launch pad, but where will they land? I think the ridge would be a best option for them, and I think that's what they're going to take. But Heavy has spotted them, and shots by Kabi, I think it missed a little bit, but I think with the information that is gathered by Heavy, they might be backing away, taking a few more cover before they go for the fight.
But that was a very good jump pad usage here by Buriram. Granted, we've updated the game. You get to be much more accurate now with your jump pad location and repositioning. But Buriram made the right choice, and that's the biggest factor. Heavy could not take full advantage of it. Clearly, not all of their players playing on the marksmen and the snipers. So, and of all teams, Heavy would not want to make the mistake of engaging early when the lobby still has got 9 squads available as we approach our 12-minute mark.
Let's see though. I mean, Du is flying solo at this point, surrounded by a lot of teams. I guess it's just more information that they need to gather before they take real estate at this point. But shots from Red Hawk's Blade right now onto, I believe, is WAG. And, well, that would trigger even E1 Sports to point their guns at them. Now, that's the problem. When you still have a lot of teams remaining in this part of the circle, in this part or face of the circle, there's a lot of shots that you might receive, and that's not a problem for Budai United because they are hanging way far away from the rest of the gang.
Flame zone time once again. Riptide Rhythm breaking down. A couple of glue walls up on the roof, but nobody home. GOW though, looking for one. Getting out of bed, so nothing much from that situation. GOW on a little bit of a rotation route to the right-hand side, looking for a good flank. But overall, they've got a very decent spot in this next circle. There's nothing much for them to worry about overall.
Flame zone. Looking at it, it's just nostalgic. Remember the danger zone that we had from the past? It is just bringing a lot of memories. But let's see if there's something that they would have heard, because all the noise might be distracting as well. It's not just the visuals, it's also the noise, and you might not be able to hear your opponent get closer to you. But Buriram United not faced at all, jumping behind Red Hawks, and I don't think Red Hawks is ready for that push. But unless they will be moving out, that might be it for Red Hawks.
A great position of the glue wall by Nejat. Manages to walk away, but Jonah finding Flicker with the grenade launcher. Blade on for the save. Nejat dropping by as well. Kutush has to use the medkit. Can't get into a fight just yet. And Wasana takes advantage by shooting from the very corner of the window. Hops on in. M590. The trade out is there. Flicker finds Wasana, but Jonah does the rest of the damage from outside. Buriram overall getting capped. Unbelievable. As Red Hawks backs away, Buriram goes down. And all of the Bangladeshi fans will say that's what you get when you mess with Red Hawks, but they only have played 3 eliminations in hand. This has to be the end for Red Hawks.
Yeah, I mean, Nero did take him down, but valiant effort at Hawks. Now, a little bit scramble coming from Heavy as well as PE Sports. Both of them move away from the compound, and a little bit of throw of utilities, and PE Sports is feeling it. But Heavy needs to move despite of the glue UAV. There's not so much of help. Steffi has been triggered. Don't cry, already to rush. And a takedown by Nero once again with M79.
Yeah, Nero just took himself out of the equation there, unfortunately as well, right after the initial connection, and that puts PE in a little bit of a pickle, but thankfully the final player up on his feet manages to get the final elimination and potentially a save here as well. Lao Ho taken out, so Pao gets that point for the squad. PE Sport will not be able to walk away with the booyah on this game. But of course, valiant effort to make it all the way in here. Once again, we've got an equal fight between the West and the East as far as squads are concerned. But when you look at the numbers on those squads, the East has no chance of picking up a booyah here. It's going to be a back-to-back Western gameplay, Western dominance by the start or by the end of this game too, I have to say.
Yeah. Team Solid looking so solid right now, though they lost Mix. They still have the numbers advantage against E1 and AG, but a shift of the zone might throw them off. And Pao was already taking down 21 blue walls, and there's still a good chance that they will be able to continue this on unless AG Global 2 can heal up, can survive, and get away from from that carnage and take down a few players of Team Solid. But he needs that distance. He needs his long-range weapon. That is what he is best for.
Yeah, and now you just need to play a couple of extra seconds here. Best case scenario, he out-survives one of the two squads out there that he's going up against. But Trap quickly repositioning. This is trouble time for Dew. Trap will be able to quickly take him out of the equation with this position that he holds on to now. But Dew moves in a little bit deeper. Potential to spot out Pao. Dew out, has the mini Uzi in hand, gets into the car instead. But spray down, not there. Dew, Liver of Hell, still tries to get away, but Trap with the grenade launcher will take him out, and it is Team Solid picking up the second booyah here on day one for the West. And for the time being, the East is able to smile, but it is the West laughing all the way to the bank, at least a little closer.
Well, Brazil represent. First off was Fluxo, then it was Team Solid. And even E1 Sports survived a little bit longer, so it seems like they will be taking the top board once again. The booyah being grabbed by Brazil, and I'm just surprised on how this is coming up, because from what I remember, Brazil, or Latam, Brazil, everyone from the West is very much in a passive state, but not this time around. They know how to time their game. They know how to choose their engagement as well. And it seems like they studied a lot of regions to get to where they are right now.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt at all. I think Brazil has just been doing a lot of homework because they understand that it is going to be a slugfest out there by the end of the day. If they're not prepared for the fight, they are going to go down without a smile. But for now, Brazil can smile. The West can smile because they are absolutely dominating with consistency. But the question is, it is just the region bringing in the consistency. Granted, we've only gotten 2 games in here so far, because if we all remember, Fluxo with a massive booyah after game 1, this game, they got caught out by Buriram a little bit too early.
Yeah, I mean, though they are number 1, 9-point lead below Buriram United, that's one thing that the United want to reduce the lead between them and Fluxo. But they were not expecting this end result as well as a takedown against them. So let's see, though, on how high or how low Buriram United has brought themselves after game number 2. But one thing's for sure, Team Solid, after 10 points from game number 1 and a massive game in game number 2, they might be taking over that number 1 spot.
Team Solid, looking solid. That's exactly what we expect out of them, and they're delivering on the expectations. You gotta like it, you gotta love it. But once again, you've got 24 games. If you're one of the teams that has messed up 2 of those matches, you've got 22 more. So it's not about messing up. It's learning from that experience and making sure you've got the capability to bring in the adjustments. Now, on the global stage, that is a little bit easier said than done, because even if you know what the adjustments are, even if you go out there with those correct maneuvers, with those correct adjustments, you still got to look at the capability of your opponents on the opposite end. And once again, we're on the world stage. This is not the creme de la creme of a region, of a country. It is the best of the best across the world. And this is as good as it gets. Well, let's take a look at the standings off of the matchup and see exactly how well did the squad do for themselves through those numbers? 23 points in total for Team Solid, so this should get them quite up high on the leaderboard because they were not too far away from the number one spot earlier. All game was global, 10 eliminations, 8 placement points for a total of 18, and equalized by E1, who are right behind them as they survived a little longer.
Yeah, well, let's see though. There's a lot more that can be put in, and Heavy right now still on the top five. I'm loving performance of the team. A lot of eliminations, surviving a little bit longer, and again, I'm quite surprised who is the coach who is taking the lead in Heavy side because they are doing quite well, putting themselves in the third spot after game number 2. Brave United stick to that number 2 spot, but I did mention Team Solid taking over that number 1 spot because they had 10 points already, plus the Booyah being taken from that Purgatory map.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking really good for Buriram and Heavy, but props to Team Solid jumping up to the number 1 spot. Unfortunate for Fluxo because after performing so well in the first game, they pick nothing up in the second matchup. But looking at how they did at Alpine, we are fairly confident that we can expect a little bit more from them. But overall, Brazil doing very, very well for themselves. Let's take a look a little bit at the team stats here. You've got the combination of Skyler, Steffi, Oscar, A1 to 4. Still no Nero on the side of Brazil, but I am not complaining, right? 3 of them walking in here with the tactical market as well, Neptune. Only Nick's walking in with the team booster since he's going up and close up against all of his opponents. He's got that extra backup when it comes to the defense out of Joseph, J. Beebs, and Ford. So we kind of see exactly where all of the aggression is coming from. But the MVP, though, is still Hacked. He got a triple on that final engagement there earlier.
Yeah, definitely. And I was looking at the skills as well, because yes, the team booster is only being used by Nyx, but Hack has that Olivia, so it counters whatever is missing in terms of loadout, and he can use tactical market freely at that point. So again, it depends on the play style and the mix and match of skills, the loadout, and whatever everything else, like plus the weapon. But it brings Hack to a different reign when it comes to taking the lead, because he did mention a triple on that final elimination, and also in terms of damage, he put in a few more, and that's one reason why he is the MVP right now. And his favorite weapon is the M590. We've seen that being used, those swings, those jumps, those hits being done by the Brazilians, and this weapon is just pristine.
Yeah, and like you said, right, he walks in here with the Olivia. He also has Joseph as well as Ford out there. Even though Ford had a little bit of a nerf recently on the OB51 update, these teams are still making him one of their favorite picks. We all understand why. You're going out there, you activate your active skill, you get a little bit of extra boost. Sorry, you activate the active skill, you refresh the capability out of Ford, so that recovery helps you stay up on your feet a little longer, and clearly it helped out greatly in that final engagement. Let's take a look at the weapon progression here as well for the squad.
Yeah, I mean, as we look in what weapons has been used in Circle 3, we've seen a VSK as well as AC-80. So at this point, you still have distance from the rest of the team. And then as they move in Circle 5, Nyx has switched from the AC-80 to M590, anticipating that close-range encounter would happen, and it stuck until Circle 6. But Trap right now, using the M79, I'm loving this. We've seen that the first game up until now that it can still bring on a lot of damage, especially for teams who's not using that Steffi. So you can take advantage of that if you don't see that gold circle around it. But if it's not available, or if that shows up, then you need to switch weapon.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think, some of the teams have been very proficient on the M79, especially on the global finals. You're going to be expecting a lot of these grenade launches. And both Trap as well as Hack did very, very well in that final circle with these close-range weapons, right? You've got the M79 to get an area of, effect damage, as well as the M590, a little bit of an explosive damage at the very end of those shotgun connections as well. Buriram did well up until this point when they engaged with Red Hawks. I think Red Hawks were being a little bit too passive in here. But when they stood up, my jaw dropped. I could not believe what I was seeing at that point.
From the moment I saw Red Hawks, it seems the movement is emulated from those like Borem United in Southeast Asia. So I know that they can move in close quarter. Plus, the update gives you more chances of surviving. The blue UAV, most instance, with the blue UAV out of the picture, those blue walls could have fallen already, and Red Hawks could have been taken out. But probably that was what threw Brim United off their game for that final moment, giving advantage to Blade to survive even longer.
Yeah, absolutely. E1 did do very well this time around. Both E1 as well as Team Solid in that final circle, kind of making Brazil very, very proud once again, because Brazil's literally carrying the West in this lobby. We all saw what happened to Movistar R7 in the past two matches. They've only managed to pick up 1 point in total, not even 1 point in each match. So Movistar R7 not having a good day at all. It could be the spicy food in Jakarta, or it could just be the first day jitters. We all understand